How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and Auto Camp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Is anyone out there?
Another salesperson enduring the endless search. Exhausting. If you want to get right to the right conversations, you need LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Whether you're looking for new leads or strengthening existing relationships at your top accounts, get right to the right conversations with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Try LinkedIn Sales Navigator now with a free 60-day trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial.
Terms and conditions apply!
Bare naked, bare naked, bare naked. ABCs. Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we will be discussing, well, I guess kind of the Bare Naked Ladies tonight. We'll be discussing Bare Naked Ladies in another group, I guess, tonight. I guess.
Can I persuade you to hurry things along?
Sure, yeah, it's probably a good idea. I like talking to you guys. It's always good times.
It's gonna be good times once we start going. Gonna walk some narrow streets. Oh, hey, I combined two. Good for me.
Well, if you walk those narrow streets long enough, you'll come to the old apartment.
Yep. See something fantastic. That didn't really work.
Honestly, it's just good to hear the sound of your voice.
Sometimes it takes me 1 week. Sometimes it takes me 4 seconds.
If you keep making these puns, I'm going to walk.
Really?
No, I actually enjoy them.
Well, if you're going to walk, I hope. Oh, damn, I can't do it like that.
We did it for you.
For you. For when you fall. No.
Odds are I can sing for you when you fall. Wow. There
Yay!
We go. Not bad. Not bad.
Beautiful. You
Brought
win whatever prize that
was. It's like a Mad Lib.
Well, Tonight we are going to be discussing the Persuasions album, the Ladies and Gentlemen, Bare Naked Ladies and the Persuasions. That was released in early 2017, just before we started this podcast adventure. It was one of the last things to put onto my list when I was going through and creating this podcast. Luckily, it didn't add a lot to the list because a lot of these were covers, so that made it much easier. But yeah, so they decided to get together with the Persuasions to create this album. It was mostly a thought by Kevin to do this from his time that he spent with Lou Reed and then at Lou Reed's funeral.
No outside songwriters, huh? I mean, I guess they weren't writing the songs; they were arranging. But
Well, I mean, Good Times isn't one of theirs.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I just miss the Page Duffy days.
Yeah. I miss him too.
So, Persuasions, a cappella group from Brooklyn in the 1962s. 1962.
1962.
Is there more than
all of them? There's more than all of the 1962s.
Yep. They actually started, most people would be like, oh no, that's just cliche. You're coming up with it. No, they actually did start out by singing under corner street lights and in the subways, which is pretty cool.
Every subway car.
See, maybe they should have covered that
streets.
One.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we're going to discuss tonight which songs they should have covered and which ones they did cover. This was done very quickly. When I say quickly, I mean they had the Persuasions come by, they recorded it within 2 days, and that was it. This was done.
I mean, they're all professionals. Just you know.
They woodshed. They come in prepared, you know.
I mean, they had been doing this for like 45 years at this point. So yeah, I'm sure they're like, yeah, we could knock that out of the park, no problem.
Very few notes.
I will say I wish they had put a little bit more time into it and a little bit more thought into it, but
I wish they had chosen some different songs, but we'll talk about that.
Well, exactly. First, I do want to bring up something really cool. The Persuasions were discovered by Frank Zappa.
Wow. Ooh. I did not know that.
Yeah, he heard them in a very Back to the Future type moment. He heard them singing over the telephone from a New
Listen to this.
Your kids are gonna love it.
And then he flew them out to LA to record their first album.
I wish stuff like that could still happen in the music industry.
Who's that in the background?
I want to sign them.
I mean, I could see why they are. I mean, beautiful, beautiful sound.
Oh yeah, amazing harmonies, which is one of the things that I want to talk about.
By the way, if you get a chance, they did cover albums of Frank Zappa, of course, as a tribute.
The Mothers or
Bob Dylan and the Beatles.
Wow.
I highly recommend going out and listening to the Beatles one, especially "Don't Let Me Down."
Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Oh, somebody, don't let me down. 'Cause I need you, I need you. Don't let me down. I need a little help this morning.
And Imagine.
Two of my favorites.
This is what Imagine should originally have sounded like. It's just gorgeous.
Imagine all the people living life in peace. Oh, Lord, you may say I'm just a dreamer, but I'm not the only one.
But yeah, it's man, they have released 23 studio albums.
That's pretty prolific.
I think BNL's at 17.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
Some fantastic. They're just keeping it real.
Let's talk a little bit about what they chose for songs for this album. They decided to go with, well, first of all, they decided to put this in the wrong order because when they recorded it, they recorded Some Fantastic first. And you can tell because there's banter of like, hey guys, it's the Persuasions. You want to come in and do a couple songs with us?
What are you doing here in Toronto?
In the middle of the album.
Suspicious.
Maybe we should have put that one first. I don't know.
That works.
It's not like it's a bad recording.
They really jump in on Narrow Streets.
Yeah.
Because they're doing, the a cappella percussion. So it's automatically someone's voice starting.
Yes.
It's weird. It's good.
Yeah. Weird. I mean, I will say I said this when we covered Narrow Streets, but this is definitely the strongest song on this album is Narrow Streets.
I would probably agree with that.
And I would say it's one of the songs that on this album, they actually took it and made it a better song than it originally was, in my opinion. It was a good song to begin with. This made it.
Yeah, this is my favorite version of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. It's really nice, actually.
That's kind of what I wish they had done with every single song on this album.
That's interesting. So, okay.
Not that same style, but brought them in and said, here, you guys do what you do amazingly.
Just riff.
So we want to hear you guys. What do you want to do with this song? How do you want to make this different and make it you? And we're going to just kind of be here and do it as well.
Yeah. Go ahead. I have some ideas about some of the songs, but you go ahead first.
So let's cover the songs they did go over. Mm-hmm. They went over they covered Narrow Streets, Gonna Walk. Then they covered Don't Shuffle Me Back, which is not a Bare Naked Ladies song. It's a Kevin song. I do love that song. I do love this.
It's a nice version of it too, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it fits their voices very, very well. Then they covered The Old Apartment. I'm not a fan of their cover of Old Apartment. I'm not a fan of their cover of Gonna Walk. Just because it doesn't bring anything new. Like in the background of Gonna Walk is nice. But I'm like, if I were to be like, I'm going to bring the Persuasions in for just this one song, we're going to bring them into the recording studio, and that's all they did, I'd be like, I think we just wasted our money because they're worth much more than that.
That was how you really feel.
Just let it rip.
They covered Keeping It Real. I would say again, that is one of the songs.
I think it's an improvement.
Yeah. They brought it up. They did something different with it, which is what I respect.
Tear it all down, friend or foe, 'cause I can be either one. But if they come at me, then they better all run. 'Cause the wood's all smoking, so the fire won't burn. Now I keep talking, but you never learn.
Like the cutcha in the background. Like,
won't heal. Don't keep nothing. You don't keep nothing like keeping it real.
It's different. At least they're giving it a different feel. Mm-hmm. For You, again, it's Ed singing his song with some of them in the background a little bit.
Are the things I keep only for myself? It's your fate, but it's not your fault. And for every useless reason, I know there's a reason not to care.
Some Fantastic, which is really just them doing the harmonies that BNL had done before, and someone else covering Steven's part. Good Times. It was cool to kind of hear some instruments on Good Times. I went back and I listened to the original, which is just their a cappella, and it does sound good having BNL come in and bring their instruments. Odds Are, again, not really anything new to it other than the very beginning, like 4 seconds. Speaking of which, 4 seconds. And again, not much different with 4 seconds other than the harmonies. Sound of Your Voice sounds like Steven's version of Sound of Your Voice, but with harmonies and someone else doing Steven's voice. When I Fall, again, it sounds like the original. Maybe Katie, same thing, sounds like the original. 1 Week sounds like the original. I Can Sing. They did something a little bit different, but it's also a very short song, so you don't really get to see them flourish. That's my opinion.
We welcome yours.
Yes.
whatever that commercial was back in the 90s.
Well, I was just going to say, what is yours?
Who are you talking to?
Either one of you. Betsy.
Okay. Hello. I mostly agree with most of that. I think they really enhanced, like, Don't Shuffle Me Back.
Don't shuffle me back to the bottom of the deck. I heard you got a rat-tat-tat-tattoo on your back. Someone told me about that.
It's kind of like a modern day ghosting song. So I like the older generation kind of singing about ghosting.
That's nice, yeah.
Which one? Oh, yeah, so like I'm Gonna Walk and some of them where they have that guy that's super bassy.
Count Basie.
Jimmy.
Yeah. That's Jimmy?
Yeah.
Jimmy something? Not
Jimmy.
Cregan.
I don't have his name up here, but Jimmy is his first name, yes.
Nice.
So I had a special tie to that because it sounds a lot like my grandfather's voice, which is very low. So that's what it reminds me of. So it almost sounds like my grandfather singing. And so whenever I hear him in the background, it's automatically a good song for me. So
nice.
The one that kind of puzzled me was maybe Katie. I just don't feel like it really belonged. I liked what they did with it, with the acapella and the kind of vocal percussion, but I don't know that it necessarily needed to be on there as much as swapping out for something else, maybe, or just omitting it altogether. But I really liked Good Times. It's I'm glad they infused their own songs in there too. Let's see. Narrow Street's Gonna Walk. Yeah, I like that there's so much range now with like the different voices and the different octaves that they can get to with the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Old Apartment, I don't know. I don't know if it's just overdone or what, but it's kind of meh to me. Keeping It Real, I really liked it. I really liked what they did with kind of like the primal sound to it, but then at the end they were just kind of getting a little punchy, I think. And they're like, I'm like, okay, that's enough of that. Yeah, I mean, For You had really pretty harmonies. Some Fantastic is, I don't know. I'm not sure if that belongs on there either. It just without Ed singing it, I don't know. It's not quite the same. Good Times out there. Yeah. Sound of Your Voice is definitely always a good a cappella one. Yeah, and the rest I could take or leave, I guess. Additions. Additions. We're gonna go. Are we gonna go to additions after Aaron?
I think we're gonna go to additions after Aaron. Let's let Aaron talk about his take on the album as it is.
I mean, I can't really say too much that hasn't already been covered at this point. I mostly agree with the general vibe, which is, I like the ones like actually I thought the arrangement on When I Fall was pretty. But for the most part, yeah, I like the ones where they're kind of leaning into what they do best. So, like Sound of Your Voice and stuff like that, where you can really, really hear the harmonies and you can really kind of just get surrounded by that. Yeah, I think most of what I have to say is in my ridiculous dream version of this album. So I'll wait for the bulk of my commentary for that.
Well, why don't we discuss your dream versions of this album? Because
go ahead.
This had the potential to be a really great album. I feel like you have two consummate professional bands coming together. I think if they had sat down and if someone had given them some direction of like, okay, here's the songs to choose from. And these and given it to the Persuasions and said, we want you to do something with this. I don't care what, but do something neat, do something interesting. We don't want to just sing this song. Like that's not interesting.
Well, it can be, right? But I also feel like
if you do one or two songs that way, it's interesting. Like if
I'm okay with
and just do their a cappella type stuff and the 5-part harmonies, then yes, it's interesting for one or two songs, but you have to really pick the right songs, especially songs that didn't have really standout harmonies to begin with,
That's
because
true.
BNL has really good harmony.
Well, that's a recurring theme in most of my favorite songs. So as it happens, when it came time to pick the tracks for this, I was like, man, where do I even start? Because we got what 250 songs I want to say to pick from. I did know that the bulk of mine would probably come from the earlier years, and I was like, what can I think? Like, so the first track I thought it was Enid because it's got a really nice, up tempo feel to it, and I in my head was just kind of like imagining when everything drops out and it's just the voices on the chorus how epic you can make that with bulked up harmonies and like really distribute everyone across this like do the wall of sound like Beatles Beach Boys kind of thing. I think that would be really amazing and I'd love to hear that. So I
Have maybe a
started
Persuasion song on the radio to begin that
yeah,
song.
instead of Depeche Mode or, or the Depeche Mode. But yeah, so eventually I was like, well, I guess let me just look at my top rated songs. And I was like, can I do an album of just my fives? Did I give away enough fives to fill an album? And yes, I did, and almost perfectly too. So my list is Enid, Sell, 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 Brian Wilson, Upside Down, The Flag, Summertime, Just a Toy, Alcohol, Conventioneers, which I think could be really fun. Call and Answer, which just my favorite BNL song, and I would love to hear a different version of it. Off the Hook, Powder Blue, again, I like those kind of sad minor songs. War on Drugs, Pollywog and a Bug, which
I thought about
100%
that.
deserves its five, and I could see a really fun, interesting, like kind of like almost like a Motown version, you know what I mean? That would be really interesting and cool, yeah. Um, Break Your Heart, which I believe I changed to a five, and if I didn't, I did. And because I mean, yeah, that song right there would be just incredible. And then You Run Away. Ironically, the subject matter of this song is exactly why we don't have most of these songs on this album, I would say. And I had room for a secret song and still be something that we could fit on a single audio CD. So does anyone want to guess what my secret song for this album would be?
Ballad of Gordon.
Good guess.
Ballad of Aaron.
The Flag.
I already
Yes,
had the
had
flag
that.
on it. But you're close alphabetically.
For you?
No, sorry. Not disregarding if it's flag, comma the.
Oh.
Think about
For you's
songs
already on
that
there.
would already have like really nice 4+ part harmony that might kind of lend themselves to a more old timey kind of doo-wop.
Fuck you?
What's the the one from the movie?
Yes.
Green?
Yes. Oh,
Gangsta Girl.
Oh, Gangsta Girl.
Gangsta
Yeah.
Girl. Like, how perfect would that be?
Girl.
Especially as
That
a
would be
secret
really
song,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Totally hard agree.
So that's my list. I know that's a little
And that would be cool
avant-garde.
because then BNL could like you would have the Persuasion singing, and then you would have BNL actually throwing in some
absolutely perfect,
instruments. Like that would be cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what about you, Betsy?
Well, I joked about putting the flag on last time, and you're like, "Oh my god, that's a great idea."
I
I'm
actually
like,
would love to
I
hear
think it is
that.
a great idea.
Yeah.
So that was mine.
Nice.
And then Crazy. I
Mm.
thought would be interesting with all the harmonies and like the voices in the background when he's losing his mind.
Yep, it has that kind of feel.
Yeah, and then just harmony wise again next time. I think would
Mm.
be good. That's all I added. I kind of half jokingly added Ballad of Gordon, but there's not like a whole lot of like the message I think is good, but I don't know that there's a ton of harmonies that they could. Let me add in whatever they want, but
Right.
you know. So that's kind of a half add in.
Okay. So I kind of went with kind of what they did and decided to throw at least one song from each album on there. But my way of going about it was I had a threefold way of doing this. it had to either be a song that would sound really amazing with harmonies.
Yeah.
A song that I did not like to begin with.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. You're trying to
And so I wanted to hear them do something.
transmute it into gold.
Yes.
Beeps and boops.
It's your Rumpelstiltskin mix.
Or a song that I was just like, I love this and want to hear something completely different.
And now for something completely
different.
So my first one, I kept on Narrow Streets, Don't Shuffle Me Back, and Good Times. I think those are really important to have on there. I really like your idea of the flag last week, and I was like, that would just sound gorgeous as a 5-part harmony song.
Gorge.
Oh my gosh, it would rip my heart out.
Yes, it would.
And then I was like, okay, so what else we got here? Because I tried to keep it to 16 songs or less. So I did cheat because I couldn't decide. I brought it down. So my way of thinking for the rest of these was I'm going to put out the songs and then the band would choose which of the two that they would rather do and do something interesting with. So from Gordon, I went with Be My Yoko Ono or King of Bedside Manor.
Ooh.
Which
Yep.
It would be intriguing to hear them do either one of those with the energy that they've got.
I think of the two, I'd rather hear Be My Yoko Ono, but
I'd rather hear Bedside.
Oh, interesting. I mean, they're both excellent choices.
Yes. That's the tricky part.
Mm.
For the next album, for Bopes, I went with The Wrong Man Was Convicted. Because I was like, yeah, that one, I don't like that song. I want to hear them do something really interesting with that. And then my other choice was Great Provider. Because it would just be really cool to hear the 5-part on that. Betsy, I see you thinking.
Thinking out loud.
Scrunching my nose, which means not. Like the song Great Provider is usually so mellow as it is. Maybe either it's going to put me to sleep or it's going to sound really multi-layered and good.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Is like they're going to have to do something with this, and maybe it means picking it up, or maybe it means taking it into a different genre of some sort.
Or adding something like vocal percussion-y, if that's a term.
Yeah.
Vocal beeps and boops.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that I thought they could do, since they're great a cappella singers, is they could do something interesting with vocally with the song. For Maybe You Should Drive, I thought that maybe that In the Drink or Same Thing would be. I don't really like either of those songs.
I was going to say,
I would love to hear them sing maybe in the drink. In the drink. That would because some of those lyrics are a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's funny to hear somebody else sing it.
Yeah.
if I'm assuming that Jim's not singing it, or Andy. Andy sing it?
I thought it was Jim, was it not?
Was it Jim?
It was just Jim.
It was definitely a Cregan.
Yeah, it was definitely
production.
I'm pretty sure.
It was just Jim because that was the album where there was no Andy.
Oh, right.
I went with a fun pick for Stunt because I don't dislike any of the songs. So I thought Alcohol would be a really fun one to hear them do.
Agreed.
And Call and Answer.
Oh, I mean,
of course,
come on.
Obviously.
Yeah. Then on the next album, on Maroon, I was like, well, Pinch Me. Like we got to go with Pinch Me. Like get a few hits in there, and never do anything.
Yeah.
Then we went to Everything to Everyone, and I was like, you know what? This is a chance. First of all, I went with Unfinished.
Shopping.
No, actually, I did. That was my first choice. Was shopping.
Really?
I'm like, let's
because you didn't like it.
Shopping. I like the concept of it. I like the lyrics. I don't like the song. If they did something completely different, like take it and do Motown with it or something, it might totally shock me.
Motown shopping. Shopping for fedoras. And
But the other one that would just sound amazing as a 5-part harmony a cappella with some instruments thrown in is Unfinished.
I think so.
I was like, oh, I gotta hear that. I want to hear them do this now. Moving on to the next set, with Bare Naked Ladies Are Me, I went with Take It Back and Easy.
Oh, definitely Easy.
Yeah.
Easy would be interesting to hear what they would do with that, and I would really like them. Like, there's a couple different versions of Easy. I want to hear them do something completely different, and see what they come up with. On the next album, on Our Men, I want Maybe Not, and a song I think that would be. It's right up their alley. It's their sound, but I want to hear them do it. Is Another Spin. Betsy's thinking about that one.
Yeah. I definitely vote for Maybe Not, though. Maybe not. Maybe not, Tracy.
Maybe not.
On the next album, it was hands down. Didn't even have to think about it. How Long? I just like that song so much. I'm like, do something with this. Make me like it.
Make it pretty.
I also had to say for Grinning Streak, Keeping It Real. I like it. My only note would be, guys, we're going to do another take. I want you to take it up one more notch. What you did was really cool. Do something more. Keep that, go more.
They were like cavemen at the end. How much more do you want?
And then the other one I had was like Off His Head. Like, I think that it would be really interesting with like that alternating that they have, using the 5-part harmony throughout that alternating at the beginning. And then if they used Off His Head beat, but they used that for their percussion, like it was just them doing that alternating throughout the whole song as their percussion, that might sound really cool.
I had to consider that one too. But I don't like that song very much either. Which is a good reason to pick it, I suppose.
And then for the last one, I said Globetrot. Like, speed it up, have them bump up not just the rhythm, but also like take this up a notch, guys. Do something with this to make it different, and make it sound different than the other song.
Globetrot, also known as Matter of Time.
Exactly. And then the other one, I was like, no, I really want to hear them do something with this, is Get in Line.
Okay, yeah, that'd be fun.
I could see it, hear it.
I think that any of our ideas, though, if we brought it to them and say, give us something.
Just like that.
Like I said, they're consummate professionals. I think that they could have come in. BNL could have followed along because they know their songs well enough, and they could have just like had a grand time with it, and it would have been a phenomenal album.
It looked like they're having quite a grand time on the videos.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, I think Ed. So he wrote a little riff, a little extra piece for Good Times too that he inserted in there. Like, I guess they're joking about it, but he actually.
Yeah, the rapping that he does.
The extra rapping piece.
Which fits in and it goes well, actually.
Smooth.
Any final notes, guys?
Would really, really love to hear them do Pollywog in a Bogue. Yeah, exactly. You can leave the bass.
Well, I don't want to be a bummer, but I think he's dead. But I think he didn't die.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Somebody else, if they have another super low bass.
Get the bass from Rockapella to fill in.
Well, he only
Rockapella, we know you listen
after this was written, so after they did this. So
I would hope.
Excuse me, we're gonna have to resuscitate
At the Weekend at Bernie's this.
Oh God. Still a little electrical. Nah, I won't say that.
Well, they did have puppets in that video.
No, Noah. Hey, Noah.
Oh Lord.
No. No, it's Gen X.
No, that's a puppet you don't want to play.
No, that's his cousin Norman.
Right.
Well, we have about 30 seconds left. Anything else that you would like to share before we move on to talking about fake nudes?
I prefer real nudes.
Real nudes are better than fake nudes. Always a pleasure talking to you both. Have a good night.
Yes.
It is.
We'll see you next week.
Have a great week, you guys.
Later, taters.
Peace out.